Come explore ancient wisdoms and groundbreaking practices. We'll travel the world, do wacky experiments, and have delightful guests. I'll lead you in deep meditations, all to give you the takeaways so you can live energized, enlivened, and empowered. I'm Dr. David, and this is Aliveness Now. Sacred sexuality. What is it, and how to get it? Well, sacred sexuality is living aliveness now. It's when your ethereal and physical are in relationship within yourself, in a deep experience of what I call union, where they're relating here, now. You live in the moment. It's the direction Aliveness Now wants to help you go. Want to take you into living that experience of what others call sacred sexuality. It's just what we're here calling profound aliveness. Living in this moment, feeling yourself as a divine, ethereal, and divine physical being. A relationship between them. Really God making love to God through you. This, to me, is sacred sexuality. It's a concept of union where two parts, or many of your parts, are experiencing together this thing, this catalyst I call union, where there is wholeness in who you are and how you relate to others. Well, that's sacred sexuality within yourself, living in your moment, letting the moment have this sacred aliveness of the physical and the ethereal joined as one. Living like a cat, rubbing against the legs of life, enjoying it with your purr on. So cool. Sacred sexuality also is as you relate to another, as you relate to that leg. Right, cat? It's relating to another in a way where you're flowing in your river. Your river flows, their river's flowing, and relating. There's a sense of being present right now with that person. You honor them, they honor you. You honor the relationship. There's union, a catalyst that says, here we are right now. Let's go talk to an expert, someone who teaches sacred sexuality, has a podcast about sacred sexuality. Well, here she is. My guest today, Lila Holdal, CEO and founder of Lila Life in Oslo, Norway. She's a breath worker, a pleasure coach, a podcaster, and just an amazing woman. We met maybe 7 or 8 or 9 years ago. And then again, this spring. The difference in your life force and your aliveness and your joy and your experience of being in your happiness was so different. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Oh, yeah, it has been quite exciting. So I think it's all about remembrance. So I think now I get goosebumps all over my body. So I think our natural state is to be fully alive and driven from our sexual energy. But then life hits us and we are suppressing a lot of spontaneous life force. And I think that what's happened with me. So during my life, I just got smaller and smaller and further away from my natural state. So some years ago, I just started to listen more into my body. And I also followed the pings that the universe gave me. So I didn't understand them, but I listened and I was like, okay, let's do it. And suddenly I was in Mexico, taking the yoga tantra teacher training. But my head was like, what am I doing here? But then my body was telling me, trust the journey. And step by step, I just got more and more into myself and the way back home to my natural state. And it's so amazing. So I feel like um, now I'm almost 50, and it's like my life force is like in the mid-20s. I feel more like alive now than 20 years ago. So it's like, it's beautiful. And this is something I just want for everyone. And this is also something that lives in everyone. It's our natural force.
Bye.
So when people ask, what have you done? Why are you glowing? I'm just turned on life.
Yes, I mean that's aliveness. It's such a heartwarming, or like not heart, it's the whole body warming experience listening to you, hearing what that transformation for you, and well, what is sacred sexuality? Let's just start right with that, because this is something we're both understanding in our way of. It's something that creates such aliveness. But what is your view? What how do you define it?
I think also that's it's a journey of remembrance to coming back where we are like supposed to be, that our bodies are a temple, it's sacred, and it's also linked up to the consciousness. So it's a journey into our body, into our consciousness, and also into aliveness. A lot of people in the society are very dopamine driven. So we are always searching outside of our body and think that we need someone else to be fulfilled, instead of like going into our temple and more like create this feelings from oxytocin, and like being in the smallest things, and just open up for magic in every moment. So, sacred sexuality is like, for me, the path to oneness, a journey on my own, but also like I'm opening up for it. It can be also journeying with a partner. And for me, the perfect scenario would be like having both directions. But for me, it has also like, I was married for many years, and I was like programmed to believe that sexuality should look and feel like a certain way. And a lot of the things I was taught was like taken from porn. And I think like if you divide porn and sacred sexuality, is like two totally different paths. And for me, like it's away from dopamine, porn, to sacred and oxytocin, a sacred journey, opening up like new levels and like going deeper and deeper into my body, but also like deeper and deeper in a connection with God. And I think God lives in me and you and everyone. And I think also when we can go from porn, and we can also separate ourselves from strict and shaming a lot of this sacred sexuality, and also our natural state of eros that lives in us. So for me, God is not religion. God is sacred. And yeah, I'm just embracing that.
Thank you, Leela. That fits right in with what we teach here. Here in Aliveness Now, we're talking and using the word union. The union between the ethereal and physical within us. When the river flows within you, uniting each and bringing together each of your chakras, each of your love springs, in either embodiment or liberation, in the way that produces your masculine or feminine energies. What she calls oneness, we're talking union. When the different parts of you relate in an alive way, in this profound, deep way, it's called union. The different chakras, the physical and ethereal parts relate and then relate to each other, creating a river running through you. That's personal union. Within you, that's sacred, it's sensual, it's alive. Personal union is an experience that leads you into enlightenment, into oneness, and into the deep physicality. Now, between two people, I call it sacred union. When my river flows as a male and flows into liberation, her The river flows deep into deep physicality and embodiment, and we're together as that happens. It'll initiate a flow within us that will bring my embodiment, her liberation, creating this cycle into sacred union. There's a timelessness, a depth that nothing else can match. Even if you're a cat and you want to be petted, it's not the same. It's something deep that happens between two human beings. And it doesn't have to be sensual or sexual. It can happen just walking down the lane, holding hands. It can happen in your bed. It can happen just by being present in the moment with that other human being. That's sacred sexuality. We don't call it the sexuality as much because it's aliveness too. It doesn't have to do with sex, but it's sensual. It's alive, because that's sensual is when you're feeling alive in your wholeness in your body. We can call that sensual because you're whole. It's one way to call it. We're bringing the term aliveness, profound aliveness, to that. And now, as you apply it to sensuality, sexuality, there's a depth to luxuriate in, and not ignore what happens when you can connect that deeply with another human being. So personal union, there's nothing outside yourself that you need. So it doesn't come from outside. It's just full and whole within you. You don't need this or that for personal union. Same with sacred union. That's why it's so different and the opposite end from porn. Porn is disconnected. How does it look? Pure copulation, I guess. I don't know. It's just not very delicious. It's not interesting to me in that there's no connection, usually. Maybe there's some great ones out there. I don't know. I don't watch it, so I don't know. But the idea of it's something outside yourself. Sex is outside yourself. The orgasm is the important thing, or how you are. Not, sacred sexuality is just a whole different realm. So that you have this whole body experience. Whether you have an orgasm or not, doesn't matter, because you're whole in your wholeness and you're feeling alive. And then when the orgasm does come, it is profoundly whole body experience of enlightenment and connection through who you are and with who you are. So different than, rubbing together until you have this genital orgasm that I've heard from people. It just is right down there, huh? That's where it is. That's where their orgasm is. And so when they first experience this whole bodiness, this connectedness that can come in sacred sexuality with sacred connection that leads to a whole body experience of oneness, they report that they've never felt anything like it. It was always just this thing that happened down there. Have it happen all throughout you. Why not? Have every cell experience it through fully who you are and through fully who they are. Together, be there for each other through it and in it and connected. Sacred sexuality. Having experience of sacred union, personal union, of these enlivenments that happen in these situations is profound. That's what we're here to do within Aliveness now. In my app, in my podcasts, my Zoom meetings, my retreats, help you live alive. And that is sacred sensuality. But it's available for everyone, for each person to experience this aliveness that is possible. I'm Dr. David. You're listening to Aliveness Now on the Transformation Network. We'll take a break. See you after the break. My show, Aliveness Now, is Transformation Talk TV's surprisingly quirky variety show. It has a companion app called Love Springs. Love Springs is a step-by-step journey taking you deeper and deeper into the concepts of each episode. There's secret knowledge, groundbreaking practices, and fun quizzes. Find Love Springs at your favorite app store or visit createaliveness.com. Welcome back to Aliveness Now. This segment's about your sensuality, how to get sexy from top to bottom and bottom to top. In our concepts within Aliveness Now, sexy is aliveness that's running through you from top to bottom in a river flow of embodiment. It runs and you get sexy from bottom up when the river's running from bottom on up in liberation. And for the male, that's the way we begin. As our river starts flowing up, we get sexy, man. Because we get whole as a human being, whole as a masculine man. Our radiance is experienced and expressed as this mountain, this penetrating experience of being a man on earth. That's what liberation brings a man. If he stops down below and doesn't flow through his wholeness, it becomes sex or porn or disconnected or not sexy to me, where it's pure genital. Could be cool, maybe. Not so fun. But that's where a lot of men stop. That's why they want to look at porn just to get the gratification. That's why they want orgasm after orgasm, because that's all they get. When you're really flowing in your river, you'll get personal union. You get this experience of enlightenment that makes the orgasm secondary in a way, where it's great when it's there, but to feel a full flow running through your whole being, that's really cool. So for the female, most females will start first with embodiment. That's where they activate their productive path, where they produce their magical feminine radiance. And as they embody down into their body, they go from what needing the softness and depth starts being okay. We start going deeper and stronger and flowing more deeply into her sensuality. That's why the feminine mostly often will need a lighter touch at first. Something connected here, connecting with this view with our eyes, connecting with who we are, expressing our connection, the romance, and the flow into the heart. Often, as a woman's embodying, she may get some tears that she really feels connected and seen and whole. That type of depth, leading down through her own empowerment and her shine, of feeling empowered in this relationship, in this moment, brings her into her sexuality, into her second chakra, into who she is, to find herself and know that's her path right now. The touch and the desire becomes more firm and deeper as you go further into the physicality. As she fully deepens, then she can burst back out in an explosion in liberation if that's the next step. But just the embodiment and that deep wholeness of depth of enlightenment you find in deep physicality. And no one needs more, but there is more, which is cool. For the male, he may start, ready for this heavier stuff, but as he liberates, the light touch will take him places he's never been, to an experience of liberation that's whole from the depth up to the lightness. Both bring you together. So men, for women, be there, be romantic, touch light at the beginning. And you women, if you want to get him going, get in with him. But men, don't confuse that's what they want right now. So that strength, the men think often that's what a woman would want, because that's what they want. Women think, oh, let's touch him really lightly, because that's what I'd want. Luckily, most men, no matter how you touch them, they're going to feel, they're ready. But the idea of how to bring that through is so important. To know the difference between the male and the female is how we find it here in Aliveness Now. When you can understand each other, you can come together in sacred sexuality, in this aliveness, the sacred union, and flow together. Well, we're having an ongoing conversation with Leela Holdal, who is an expert in sacred sexuality. Let's go talk to her. I want to know, what are some things people can do to experience or live and begin this journey into sacred sexuality, into aliveness?
So, like, where your focus go, energy flows. So I go to the gym and I train my biceps and my triceps, and I experience the same, like with sacred sexuality. I had to like put my focus there. So I'm very in tune every day. How do I start my day and how do I end my day? I'm like aware of every step I take, because you can take a step, but you can also take a step in gratitude and in love. And with everything you do, you could put love and gratitude into that. So it's all about being aware, being present, and also, like you mentioned, the breathing. So when you like awaken this sacred sexuality, you can, goosebumps again, you can actually get like a full body orgasm just by breathing. So because like the force and the eros and our senses are so potent in a good way when we connect with them. And I think a lot of people, when they just hear the word sexuality, they think about like friction between two persons, but it's so much deeper than that. So sacred sexuality is like something everyone can grow, but you have to put your attention into it and choose it. It's all about remembrance. So when you slow down, breathe slowly, are present in every moment, add some gratitude, some love, changes. It's not possible that you don't get in contact with them. And suddenly you're like, oh my God, that bird. Oh, it's so beautiful. I want to make love.
Yes. That is so cool. It's if people just know it's possible and see that as a vision, they head toward, they start creating it. If they know it's okay. I was working with a guy, a friend of mine, or a guy who was coming to my office, big muscled guy, a young guy he said, I now go into the gym and I work out into ecstasy. So I'm in there and I'm pumping and I just smiling and joyous, making great sounds. But he's so big that no one bugged him, because he just lived it, and so he was so inspiring that he was able just to take this possibility and turn it into his life. And he became more and more lit up, and he just let himself do it. And so more of us can do this. I guess in some of our repressive societies, we don't want to look different, but people will respond to, I find, when you're shining. We don't have to go in and make orgasmic sounds when we're working out. We can. That guy, he did it and it was okay. But we can shine and be lit up, and people are just going to wonder, wow, this is so beautiful just to be around you. And that's what I felt when I saw you again here in March. It was just, wow, it's just shining. It's beautiful to see. And so, yeah, just so curious. And so this is good. Leela Holdal, wonderful. So how can people get fully turned on? What is this, when you're with a partner, when with yourself, what is it? What is this fully turned on, and what's those steps? Let's go into it a little deeper now.
So how can people get fully turned on? I think if you have to go back to like to choose it,
right?
To choose to be turned on, it's a choice. It's a choice.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can like choose to be a victim and to like be in the same pattern, and like our subconscious are wired in that way. It will always choose the familiar hell instead of the unfamiliar heaven. So that sounds a little bit harsh, but that's the truth. So you have to get out of your programming and take a step in a little different direction. And the payment you get are so, so, so,
Right.
so high. So go even a little bit slower, try something new. Like I start my day every day, no phone, silence, touching myself to feel safe in my body. When I feel safe, it's like ripping down a wall between me and something deeper. So the safer I feel, the more I can soften and the more I can be turned on. So it's all about softening. So how soft can you be? And that's also something you have to choose. You have to exchange your phone for some minutes to just touch yourself, breathe, maybe cuddle with a partner, like spooning, like start your day, like to be intimate and just open this path. And when you do this, it's also like a lot of people in the society have a difficult relationship to their bodies and also loving themselves. And I think also that's a protection, like holding us back for opening this path. I think that because
It's
we are,
staying in fear.
yeah, because we're also so conditioned that like the sexual energy is shameful. It's something dirty. But I think also that's something we have been programming to keep us small. So if you want to open up to your bigness, to your greatness, to your aliveness, and be turned on, you have to choose it. And it's 100% available for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And with a partner, it's finding how do you develop that with them? And that's, to me, also then brings a couple into this full turned on. We have the receptors in our bodies that receive, those drugs. So we have to be able to turn them on ourselves. It's just people don't take the time or live the life outside of their fears. So they need something to force those receptors to be activated. But you can do it yourself, and there are no side effects other than shining and glowing.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Having a lot of pleasure.
exactly. Well, that's
It's
great.
all the benefits.
Yes. Yeah. So many people have patterns that's not okay to feel pleasure. It's not okay to be happy. It's not, whoa, let's shift that. But notice it. If somehow, as you're getting yourself feeling alive and feeling pleasure, does part of you say, no, it's not okay? It's like, oh, so if I notice, I go, part, I know, because it's been ancestral stuff that it's not okay. For so long, science tried to say women didn't experience orgasms. It's like, are you guys not, you're just really bad in bed or something? It's like, come on. Thank you, Leela. That was perfect. That was great. So to experience this sense of getting sexy from top to bottom and bottom to top, let's do a meditation. First, what that brings you from top to bottom. I'll call it the waterfall of blossoms. And this is especially to help the female first embody. Or if you're ready for embodiment male, you can do this too. You do this too. Imagine the crown chakra is a flower. It's closed. So the first step, put your hands on top of your head with your fingers together. Feel that center of your crown and close your eyes and just sense it. And imagine as you bring your fingers apart, imagine that flower opening from the center of your crown out. And maybe you'll feel like moving as you bring your hands apart, letting this flower on top of your head open to receive the rain, the water, the flow, and that waterfall, the water that comes into this flower fills it. And as that flower fills, the water then starts flowing down. Go to your sixth chakra. Put your hands on your forehead in prayer position, your thumbs on your forehead, hands together, right on your third eye. Put your thumbs on your third eye and your hands out like in prayer position. And now slowly open those hands. Slowly, slowly open your hands, letting some of that water flow from above into your flower, but your flower is opening. As it opens, you're spreading your hands apart to feel the energy go from the center of your forehead out to your cranium. Can you feel the openness of your cranium, of your third eye, become like a large, huge flower that is receiving that waterfall from the seventh, from the crown. Let it fill. Feel that delicious water be received by that flower, filling. Filling. Then put your hands in that prayer position on the thumbs on your throat. Take a couple deep breaths. Move your body if you need to. We're coming to the throat chakra. There's often going to be tension here. To allow yourself to flow, to express, to feel. Let go of anything that doesn't serve you in this moment as far as allowing yourself expression. You can make any sound you want right now. And then slowly open your hands like a flower. Thumbs still touching, but the outer fingers starting to open. Keep opening until it feels like a fully open flower. Until it opens so wide it starts receiving the water from the sixth chakra, dripping down, filling it. Slowly or quickly, just let the water flow down and drip in, filling that fifth chakra. Bring your hands to the center of your heart. Same prayer position, thumbs on your center of your heart. Feeling the flower there closed in a bud. Bud. And the potential of that bud, of that heart. Then slowly open your hands. Let that bud start blossoming, spreading out. Letting your hands spread away from the center now to a huge flower, the size or bigger than your chest. And how that then can fill with the water flowing down through the other flowers, filling that flower, receiving all that nourishing river into your wholeness of your heart flower. Same with your third chakra. Just below your xiphoid, put your fingers, thumbs there, and like a bud there, and spread, slowly spread your fingers and your hands, opening that flower, receiving that water, filling that flower. And hands together over your second, over your pelvis, finding some way there. Your wrists are on your pelvis, and your hands together, and spread the hands apart. So just spreading apart, allowing that flower to open. Filling water from those other filled flowers dripping down, filling that second chakra with water, receiving it. Still flowing in all those chakras, and then go to the root. Find your way to put your hands in a way that feel like a bud. Feel the close, and then as you open your hands, feel the opening, the flower receiving, allowing the water from the other flowers to flow in and fill it. So you can feel this continuing flow down in embodiment. Now, for a concept, for the men first need to flow up. Women, you'll flow up too. I mean, we do both. But the men, we need to get them started with it. So let's go over to see a volcano, because this is what it's like. Let's go over to Taormina, Italy, to visit Mount Etna.
In the background, you see Mount Etna, continental Europe's most active volcano. It's a great metaphor for liberation, as energy is compressed and pushed up. You can go from each chakra. Each chakra, you compress the energy into the center and it rises. The next compresses and rises. The next compresses and rises until you can explode out into oneness.
Okay, so you got the basics over there with volcano, where you're now, instead of opening like a flower, you're compressing and moving up. So you're starting at the root, guys, and your hands are open, and then you bring them together. So start with open hands and come together. So it's going to be like this. And so imagine there's energy at your root, and you're going to compress it by bringing your hands together, and you can feel energy move up, penetration in through you. And then you go to the next, the second chakra, hands apart, like a couple feet apart, and then bring your hands together over your pelvis, like you're squeezing that energy from the outer part of the chakra toward the inner part of the chakra. Feeling the energy that come up. Third chakra also. Feel that strength. Squeeze it together, woof, up it comes. Feel the flow of that river moving up through you. Heart. Squeeze it. Bring it up. Fifth chakra. Oof. Sixth. Same thing. And crown. Feeling that lava flow up through you. Well, this is how you get sexy from bottom to top. And the embodiment, when you really flow, you're sexy from top to bottom. You get to do both, but start somewhere. Start getting your sexy on. This is Dr. David. You're listening to Aliveness Now on the Transformation Network. Let's take a break. Well, what decreases sacred sexuality? What turns you off? What creates something that doesn't feel good in you? You lose your mojo, okay? Or your connection, or it doesn't feel whole or deep. Well, one of the first things is to remember that a commitment is the container for the relationship. Are you fulfilling that commitment? If not, it's a drain. Some people have started with appropriate commitment, but then they made the commitment too big, and now no matter what you do, it's never fulfilled. Or you have so many commitments that you never feel fulfilled, so you can't relax into your sexuality. Didn't get this done, you got to do that, got the kids, got that. And then you're so drained that you don't have the energy. So key for me is make sure my commitments are fulfillable and completable, or at least so that I can put them aside if I need to and do more with them later. So look in your life, where do you have commitments that are unfulfillable, or too many commitments so you can't fulfill any of them? One commitment may be, I have to keep my house perfect. So you're in bed, oh, but I didn't vacuum. That's going to throw everything off, isn't it? You're connecting with yourself, but you know you should have mowed the lawn. Or, these commitments that aren't fulfillable. You can't keep your house perfect. You don't need to. You can't be with your kids 100% of the time. They're asleep sometimes. They're at school. They're with their other parent, whatever. So your commitment of life where I have to be perfect, or I have to be with my kids 100% of the time. I have to be the perfect success in my office, or I can't do it here at home. So these things, create commitments that are fulfillable, and then you're energized. I know with my family, I had a commitment. I have to be with my kids 100% of the time. But at the time I was divorced, I only had them half the time. So it was always a drain. I never could fulfill it. As soon as I changed and shifted that commitment, revoiced this kind of commitment. I never voiced it, but it was in the back in my head somewhere. When I realized, I go, yeah. And so shifting that unvoiced commitment to something fulfillable, like I'll be with them when I can be with them, and we'll enjoy it while I'm there. It doesn't have to be 100% of the time. So first step, fulfill your commitments. Yeah, otherwise you can have something bugging you in your head. Guys, make sure all your physical commitments are complete, because that's going to bug us more than anything. For the female, usually it's the emotional commitments. Make sure that all your emotional ties are completed, or you don't need to deal with them right now. Otherwise, you can have this thoughts going back to it. The guys are going to start thinking about how to fix that darn boat motor. No, put them aside. Complete. Now you're together. That's one way you can lose your sacred sensuality, especially with another, even within yourself, by not fulfilling your commitments. And then there's the opposite, where the commitment's too small and the relationship is voracious. Like at the beginning of some relationships, it just takes off. But without the proper container, it's going to be hard to continue it. Let's go down to Dr. Chakra's laboratory. He's got a rocket down there. I'm going to do a demonstration. I think you'll love it.
Teach us, show us, Dr. Chakra. Dr. Chakra.
Here's a great metaphor for the beginning of a relationship. Notice the small container, the small commitment that will hold the relationship. When you turn it on, this will get really bubbling. The hydrogen in here will create pressure and eventually be ignited to cause this rocket to zoom up into the air. Exciting. This is the type of relationship that is written about in poetry and many X-rated films. Let's see what happens. This small commitment will not hold or guide the relationship for long. It will go up, but it will never reach orbit. It will crash back down like a love bomb. This type of landing can crash a relationship. Yes, it is wonderful to lift off into the heavens, but if you have a parachute, other commitments, the landing will be gentle and fun. Or, if you have a larger commitment nearby, it can splash down with delight. Sometimes it comes crashing down into your lap. Oh, shit! Great. That was fun. So, another place your sacred sexuality can be decreased or lost, your experience of your wholeness lost, is when you're skipping parts of your own river. Like for the male, if I go from my power and don't really empower others, only empower myself, I can skip over my heart, get into my voice, and get strong and not loving. That's not going to work. My communication is going to be strident and not loving, not with any compassion or even any celebration. Or do I skip the whole sense and just purely go out and try to be this guy who's enlightened, but without a full river flowing? Now, I might be a nice guy then, but I won't be very sexy. For the female, she could skip over too. But more often, she often will reverse her flow. Or she'll go to the second part of the river first. Like when she has to work among men, sometimes she'll take on this upwards flow first. But she'll become hardened, less feminine, and she'll get exhausted. So men, help that woman, your woman, make sure help her come in, help her feel like a woman. Start with that light touch and that connection, that softness that you need to develop the ability to bring her in, to be that strong mountain of a male that allows her to relax onto you so she can embody. She's not going to be in a sexual space unless you do. It may be porn-like sex because she has to or needs to or wants to, but it's not going to be that complete sacred sexuality that we want to experience more often than not anyway. So she may skip parts, she may reverse and do that second part of the river, because the second part of the river without the first flowing is so exhausting to maintain, because you have to keep filling it with more and more water from outside sources. Again, sacred sexuality is when our river flows and there is nothing needed from the outside. So you don't have to do extra meditations, eat better, more water. They're good things, but if you need them to feel energized, your first part of your river is not flowing. So learn to embody and flow up. So first, for the woman, don't skip your expression. You need to communicate to know what to feel. You need to get through this heart, and you won't get through the heart without feeling something. You know you need to feel something lots of times, and you'll need to find ways to communicate it. Not always with the guy, but sometimes let him know you need to express, just to know what to feel. He doesn't need to answer. Don't make him be a woman. Let him be there for you, hold you. Guys, don't try to fix her, because it's not a fixing time. It's a presence time. Allow her to come in. Be there for her. Women, find your way to your heart to feel what you need to feel. And flow in. Don't now go out and try to do everything for him or do everything for everyone else. You need to come through your heart to your empowerment to shine. That's going to be when you're in your sacred sexuality and it's flowing. So, another aspect of what can decrease sacred sexuality, the experience of depth with another person, is misunderstanding each other. Having stories that are being activated by the other person, but they're your stories, and you putting the energy on them, that their actions cause you to feel something. Whoa, come back. You're feeling what you feel. They did what they did. Let them be them. What are you reacting for? Where's it coming from? Deal with it. That's what we're doing here in a lot of my episodes, is how do you work with these stories that are inside? So this is what we're here for. These things that we're talking about in this episode are things you can learn to do in my work. So in a male-female relationship, let them be female, let them be male. That's why we're together. Don't expect them to be like you. That's when you become a roommate. That's when you start thinking they should be like you. And things they do that used to delight you start bugging you. Because you've lost your male-female polarity of them being female and celebrating their amazing feminine amazingness. I don't know how to put it. It's like, my words can't say how delicious and amazing it is to be and see and feel this woman who's there with me. Same for the female. Don't expect him to do and be like you. He's not here to express his feelings necessarily. We'll do it at times. He's not here to go deep in those ways. Love him for who he is as a man. What got you this sense of safety from being around this guy that allowed you to melt into him. Remember those things. Allow that to still happen. That's going to bring you back into your sacred sexuality. You start forgetting those things, you go into the roommate. Or even worse, sometimes it becomes the marriage of the Amazon and the eunuch, where he's now sexless. He has not his male energy flowing, and you become more the male, the power. Okay, sometimes it can be fun, but that's a whole different story. But the idea of being who you are, that's where sacred sexuality comes, being your wholeness with each other, allowing them to be in their wholeness. That is so sexy. To be seen as who I am, to be allowed, not allowed, but honored for the male I am. Same for the female. To be seen as an amazing woman on this earth, to be embodied goddess on this earth and be treated that way. I love you how you are. I love you as you express yourself. Now, of course, watch out, women, that you're not, as expressing yourself, you're not blaming him, because that's your stuff going on him. So watch out. If sometimes it's hard, you need to express your feelings, but so many times it will feel to the man like he's being blamed. You see him starting to pull away. Okay, wait, I didn't mean to blame you. Make sure he knows it's not about him. I'm trying to explore my feelings here. I'm sorry if it sounds like I was blaming you or putting it on you that it was your fault, because that's what we'll easily feel that. So that's just different than another woman who will just know that you're exploring your feeling. The man will interpret it oftentimes as he's being shamed or blamed. And that'll shut down, again, the sense of sacred sexuality, that sense of connection. If a man's feeling shame, he's going to try to get away. Men, stay through it. You can do it. These are the things we're here to teach you, to learn. Enjoy your connection. It's not easy all the time, but come back to it. So again, can we live in that all the time? No, there's times we're going to feel our stuff. But coming back to it's so delicious, into our sacred sexuality, into this connection. Well, we've been talking to Leela Holdal about sacred sexuality. She's an expert. She lives in Oslo, but let's go talk to her to get one more final word about the concept of what can crash and decrease sacred sexuality. Okay, we're with Leela. Love this. What decreases and what inhibits sacred sexuality?
So I will say that porn is a big problem because it tell us how it's supposed to be, and also not communicating. So I think society need a porn detox, and we need to open up more and to be honest with each other, and also dare to take the hard conversation to tell him or her, this is what I like, this is what's turning me on, this is what I need to feel safe, to be seen. And also I think Tantra is a dance between the feminine and the masculine, so masculine and feminine energy. So in a relationship, it's very, very important that we remain the dance between the polarities. So we have this attraction. So the thing I see, it's it can end up in a toxic pattern where the women emasculate the man, and it's turning into a nagging dance instead of a sacred sexuality dance. So we lose our lust and grow apart. So porn and also stress. So stress, I will say, is the main thing that keeps us decreases us from our lust and to be turned on.
It's an inappropriate response to stress. It's not just stress, I don't think, but it's because we don't know how to shut it or move through it. So we're back to this kind of moment.
But when we are stressed, our brain wants the quick fix.
Right.
But then we are pulled against dopamine rushes. We want the quick fixes instead of going into the slower things where we open up for this sacred sexuality and all the beauty that lives in us and all the aliveness. So, and also old conditions about how we are supposed to live our lives. And it's a lot of shame around sexuality. Right. But I think a lot of people don't understand the difference between porn and sacred sexuality. So it's so important that we see that it's two totally different things. And sacred sexuality is also a way of living, loving your life as it is. Not when you have reached those goals, have that weight or that man, or it's here and now. And the only time you can feel like real pleasure is in this moment. But when it's dopamine driven, it's something we are thinking about there. The goal is there.
Right.
And then we are also always grasping for this orgasm or this or this. So sacred sexuality is about being in the moment. So not being in our body, in the present, keeps us away from being turned on and also opening up for this path.
Yeah. I had something I wrote once was just a thought kind of concept was, well, what if each orgasm is just now foreplay for the next one? Begins the foreplay for the next one. So you're living life in sensual living that each time it just begins the foreplay for this next depth and experience. And then life just becomes, this dance of aliveness. Mm-hmm. And well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for taking this time. It's a pleasure. We're going to be offering a seminar here down the line here, maybe this fall. That's going to bring our concepts together. It's going to be a lot of fun. Take 3 or 4 days. Join us. You'll be able to find you on lilolife.no, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Where else can they find you?
I also have a podcast that actually the name is Turned on Life.
Ooh, cool. Yeah. Turned on Life.
Yeah, Turned on Life, but it's in Norwegian. But I have some episodes in English, one with you. So I would recommend everyone to listen to. And I also have one very good one about Tantra, like what is Tantra and the tantric path.
Well, stay tuned, everyone, and join in. Find her website. Right now, we have such easy ways to translate words into English if we need to. So you can go through. It's a beautiful website. It's a delight to have you here, and I look so forward to our event together.
Me too, and thank you so much, David.
Thanks, Leela. Perfect. So, in conclusion, live your life as a human being, a whole human being. Male, female, however you're flowing, to create your aliveness and your wholeness as a human being. When you're flowing within yourself and with others, you feel alive. That's sacred sexuality, is feeling aliveness in this profound union within you and with others. Join us to help create that in your life. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to help lead you into aliveness for having these incredible experiences. I'm Dr. David. Join me in our app, in my Zoom sessions, my retreats. Find ways to learn how to be in your sacred sexuality, to live it. Start, that first step is that sense of presence, getting right here. That starts it. And then living, connecting yourself into your wholeness, into the relationship that you are between ethereal and physical, brings it on. Create then the current that runs through you from top to bottom, bottom to top. This current is productive. It creates the radiance of either feminine or masculine. It produces the energy so you can be fully you. And bring that illumination you find as you do that back through humanity. That's what we're here to help you have. That's the enlightenments that you're going to gain as you work into aliveness now. I'm Dr. David. You've been listening on the Transformation Network. Create aliveness within yourself and in your relationships. Join me every second and fourth Monday at noon Pacific on Transformation Talk TV. Download Love Springs app. It's a companion journey to deepen your experience. Visit createaliveness.com to find out about my Catalyst Games, Aliveness events, and retreats. I am Dr. David, and you have been listening to Aliveness Now.